And that's another thing, you know, we can improve our language.
Oh
Time,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You know, that was another criticism that they would have had. You know, I can't be cursing so much. Okay, okay, you know. But like I said, I enjoy coming here and or enjoy adding on with you because like I
That's
say,
fun.
you have all this history, God, and they say you guard equality, God. You know, like you're one of our nation. And I know you went through some trials and tribulations. You went through some things.
Oh hell,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But look, you know, I, this is my second volume.
How to eat to live.
Yeah, this is my second volume. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they got passages in here where they said that they got two people in here. And they say that laugh at that would laugh at our age, 76 and 90 years old,
Mm.
that we call old.
Mm.
They would laugh at because they lived to be 2,000 years old.
That's interesting. Is it 2,000 years? I put questions to that, but okay, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so do I.
Yeah, right.
So do I. You
Put
know,
questions to that.
but
I mean, I get the idea in terms of they live longer than
yeah,
what we live.
yeah, eating proper food, this and that. Plus, they didn't have all the chemicals
Right.
that we have in our bodies.
Right.
They didn't have that shit. The fuck medicines that we have, you know, that does other things.
Right, that does more damage than good.
What? I
Right.
mean, you know, even the chemo.
Mm.
You know, they when they said that I had what's that colon cancer.
Mm.
When they said that I had colon cancer, I laughed at it because I know who I am.
Mm.
You know, I know my birth sign. My birth sign is June 22nd.
Mm.
That's Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
My sister is July 21st. She ends it. In Cancer. Well, see, I'm Cancer, so I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about it. So they talk about, yeah, we can offer you chemo. Now, I didn't know this here until after I got to the hospital and shit. That the United States is the only fucking country that's the first thing they throw on the table.
It's chemo.
Is chemo.
Mm.
Other countries use it as a last resort. Some countries don't use it at all.
Mm.
Now, I found out about chemo. When I go seeing chemo, you know, in other people, the people that used to go back and forth for chemo, they come back tired.
Yes.
They come back all drawed up, looking like a fucking prune and whatnot. They in their house for 2 or 3 days. Of course, they trying to get their strength back and whatnot. Then I found out that the radiation may be curing was diagnosed, but it's also affecting
something else.
healthy organs and whatnot.
Right.
You know, so now after you gonna got done with this, now you got something over here that's going wrong now because of the chemo, the radiation.
Right.
Keep your shit. You know, this is what I told them at the hospital. I said, nah, y'all keep to have my sister on my phone listening in. I said, you heard that, sis? She said, where's your body? You know, you do what you want, you know. I said, well, I'm not taking no chemo. I said, I live with the disease.
Mm.
You know, I said, now I die with the disease. Whatever the case may be, I ain't fucking with no chemo.
Mm.
So the lady did like this shit. She said, okay. She said, okay. She said, I have another alternative.
Mm.
I said, what's that? She said, we have a trial drug that the FDA has not sanctioned yet.
Right.
You know, and but we're gonna use them. We're gonna got 88% success with it. You know, like that. I said, oh yeah. I said, well, give me that then. But I ain't fucking with no chemo. You know, like that.
The alternative.
Yeah, she said, I said, what happens? She said, it's 4 shots. I said, yeah, okay. What happens with the 4 shots? She said, what it does, it targets any cancer cells. And once it targets the cell, it attacks it and shrinks it up. And we go in and we just take out the cells, the dead cells.
Okay.
I said, well, let's do this. When do we start? You know, like that. Well, anyway, I got the 4 shots. They went in like they said, and when I woke up, they was all standing around me, and I said to myself, "This don't look good." Not with all these motherfuckers standing around me. This don't look good at all. You know, they said, "How you feeling?" I said, "I'm all right." I said, "Why all y'all standing around my damn bed?" You know, like that. And they said, "We was waiting for you to wake up." You know, like that. She said it was a success.
Oh.
I do like you said. I said, "Oh." I was shaking all they motherfucking hands. Thank you. You know, but like I said, I had went in with the idea that I was gonna win anyway. I said, how's cancer gonna kill me? And I'm cancer. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it's over with. I had to go back. And they had to go inside again to check out to see if any more had grown or anything like that. Came out negative. So I guess I'm a cancer survivor. You know, like that.
Well, peace, God. I'm glad to have you still amongst us.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mega did this.